Guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. What's going on today? It is very hot in here. It's so hot that if I'm sweating, I swear it's the lights in my studio and the AC not running yet, not my love for Seer, who is the best dungeon wave clearer AOE nuker inside the game for PVE content, bar none. If you own her, congratulations, because you have your hands on just an absolute beast of a champion. Now, not a lot of you guys, I'm not gonna lie, a few of you guys in the comments have said you've spotted me on Doom Tower. I've done a bunch of world record runs. Who really cares about this? I've never made a video about this. I've never talked about this in a video up until this point, because I totally realize that no one really cares. But you can see here, like, dungeon waves, it's really using an OP pay to win Seer team that I've been able to basically tie first place on every dungeon floor on Doom Tower Hard in 15 turns. Actually, not every floor, I should take that back, but most Doom Tower floors here. You can see, look at this guy. 12 turns, my God. But you will notice that every single team, every single one, on every single floor is using, that's right, Seer, with multiple Kymars as well, right? This video is not going to be about Seer using multiple Kymars. However, I will, feel free to fast forward if you could care less, but I will show you a quick run on with a team like this. Just to see kind of how it works, right? And it really, what it does is, it really illustrates how good Seer is, right, and how she works, right? Even though this team is incredibly unrealistic for most people to use, it will show you kind of why she's so good, right? So it's all about stacking up a bunch. I use a different build for this team as well, which I'll tell you about in a second here, but it's all about stacking up as many buffs as you possibly can onto your team, and then just having Seer nuke them down. So this is how this team works. You'll notice, you know, and this will apply to anybody, not just this team. Having a champion on the same team as Seer in a shield set is going to be crucial, because you're starting out automatically with 5 buffs every single round. I also run one champion in an immunity set. In this case, it is Duchess. Okay, so what am I thinking of? A shield set, an immunity set, and then as many different unique buffs as I can on my team. On this team, I have a couple buffs from Duchess, and I have a strengthened buff from Lydia as well. So here we go. Mausoleum Mage, though, arguably a better pairing than Duchess. I just need her for the speed aura on this particular run. So here we go. Gonna go in with the A2 here on Kymar. Go in with the decreased defense and weaken, and most importantly, the strengthen. And then here goes Seer. Let's put it in single time speed. Let's watch these guys burn. Boom! That's a lot of damage, man. That's a lot of damage. They have a lot of HP, a lot of defense. And then round 2, we come in here. We reset the skills with Kymar. We get all the buffs up with Duchess. We go back in again with whatever, Kymar. We go in with the debuffs, with the strengthen up. We're back to Seer, and boom! Oof. Feels so good. It feels so good watching them melt. I remember the first time I watched these champions melt from Seer. Something about it that's just so gratifying. I don't know. All right, here we go. This is the wave that sometimes you have to rerun a couple times because we might not always kill them. We have one less buff on each of our characters, but let's see for the video. Boom, there we go. So there it goes. That's a 15-turn run. Doom Tower Hard 84, because Seer is so incredibly strong and we're abusing Prince Kymars. But don't worry, guys. This video is not about world record Doom Tower runs, just because, legitimately a few people have mentioned they saw me in the scoreboards. I'll show you the team. All right, so let's go ahead and show you Seer and talk about, I did mention, right, that we have a, hey, wait a second. Shout out to BGE, great YouTuber. Shout out, check out his channel, guys. I need to collab with BGE. Anyway, back to the champions. So let me show you Seer and talk about why I use a different build. You'll notice against all those teams that I went against, there were no buffs on the enemy teams, so I didn't need to worry about her either landing a weaken, her landing a sleep, or her removing any buffs from the enemy team, which all is predicated on accuracy. So that's why I have this very low accuracy on my Seer right now. So for the rest of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off and put on an accuracy banner instead. That's more like it, 226. That's more like it in terms of accuracy. Now her A1 has a, I want to say a 3.8 multiplier or 3.6 multiplier on her A1. Either way, it's a pretty hard hitting A1. So you do want to build her with some attack as well, even though her A3 is not based 1 iota off of attack. It's really only on a little bit enemy max HP, mostly by far the number of buffs that you are removing on this ability, okay? We'll get back to that in a second. But 20% chance of granting an extra turn off of the A1. Again, knockout deals a decent amount of damage, talking around 50k damage on Doom Tower hard mobs. We have Clan Banner, increased crit rate on all allies for 2 turns, weaken on all enemies for 2 turns. Whatever, obviously, is based on accuracy to land that weaken. And then Karma Burn. Ooh, the nastiest, the best nuking ability in the game for PvE. Not even close, really. Removes all buffs from all allies and enemies. Well, I should say enemies and allies. Then attacks all enemies. Damage increases according to the number of removed buffs. Also has a 50% chance of placing a sleep debuff on all enemies for 1 turn if you're not killing them. The chance of placing the sleep debuff increases by 5% for each buff removed. Inflicts less damage to bosses. Still, we're talking hundreds of thousands of damage to bosses, so less damage, but not by much, okay? So very, 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 very insane, sick ability. Resistant all battles by 40 aura, not too bad. We have some masteries on this champion, okay? So support tree is, you know, whatever. You know, get a little bit of accuracy. Pick up Evil Eye, decrease target's turn meter when this champion hits them for the first time with the default skill. Whatever, right? Let me move myself over this way. Here we go. So offense tree, tier 6 mastery, mandatory that you go with Helm Smasher, right? Might not seem like that, but trust me, for wave killing, you want Helm Smasher. It will make a huge difference. And I can testament to that because, or testify to that because I ran Flawless Execution for a while on her, thinking that, you know what? I don't want to deal with only a 50% chance of ignoring def. Don't worry about it. Trust me. I switched these 2 masteries. I don't know how it works behind the scenes. I'm not going to pretend to nerd out and tell you guys. But for whatever reason, all of a sudden I went from, like, you know, killing 75% of enemies every time to 100% of enemies every time, even though it's a 50% chance of ignoring the defense. Don't ask me, just listen, right? Never, never, never blindly copy a website or a YouTuber for masteries. Helm Smasher, very important. Also, Cycle of Violence, a mastery that I don't have, is very, very good on Seer. 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn if the damage inflicted by a skill exceeds 30% of the target's max HP, which is basically happening all the time on Karma Burn, and you get a 50-50 shot if that 30% proc hits at decreasing Karma Burn. I don't have it, so why is it, if it's so good, why don't you have it, Ash? Because I run her with stun and sleep champions, right? Still the Drakes or Kymars. So increased damage inflicted to targets with stun, sleep, fear, true fear, or freeze by 12%. 12% is a lot of extra damage. So I try to run her with a stunner on the same team. That's a ton of extra damage when you're already dealing 300k damage per pop anyway, per hit, right? So other important masteries to consider here: Whirlwind of Death, increased speed by 6 for each enemy killed by this champion. It's going to be an easy plus 18 speed. Very important to get Kill Streak. Increases damage inflicted by 3% in other locations. We're not using her in the arena. 3% in other locations for each enemy killed by this champion in battle. Stacks across each round in the battle. That's an easy 12% extra damage by the time that you get to the 2nd or 3rd wave off of your Seer. So definitely pick up Kill Streak as well. In the left kind of hand side of offense masteries, increased damage inflicted by 5% when attacking with full HP. Increased damage inflicted to targets with less than 40% HP. Increased damage inflicted by 6% when attacking targets with higher max HP. All of these masteries very important for Seer. She's definitely a champion that benefits greatly from masteries. Like, you can make this case for Seer masteries almost as much of any other champion in the game. So artifacts, crit damage on the gauntlets, crit rate as a substat so we can get crit damage on our gauntlets is very important. First order of business on my Seer is, if I have Savage gear, I'm putting her in Savage. Savage, Helm Smasher, the 2 things you need to consider when building your Seer, the 2 most important things. Helm Smasher, Savage Gear, okay? Thing number 3, crit damage on the gauntlets. Try to pick up that crit rate in substats, right, to get it to 100% if you can. So crit damage, we have attack percentage. Again, scales very well on our A1, or I should say multipliers are good on the A1. And then we have speed on the boots. I went attack on the ring. We went crit damage, obviously, on the amulet, and accuracy on the banner. You saw the build I had her in earlier, or the banner, I should say, I had her in earlier, was attack, because we don't need the accuracy when they don't have any buffs and we don't care about the weekend or the sleep. So that's how we have her built today, guys. Also, people run her in Relentless, getting an extra turn, thus decreasing the cooldown of Karma Burn even more. So Relentless set is another very viable option for her. But when you talk about Seer, we're also talking about the champions that we're building around her, okay? So anything else that I think we discussed everything in terms of her build, right? Let's go ahead and move on to let me give you my main Fire Knight team, and then we'll run her in a totally different team, right? We'll like run her with a bunch of like more accessible champions here. This is my main stage 25 Fire Knight's Castle team. Just a note, because I know inevitably some of you guys will mention it in the comments. More efficient to farm stage 24, but I do like that it's a Spirit Affinity matchup. It makes Allure a strong affinity match. And I have to say, Allure and Coldheart on this team, just better than ever against Fire Knight. Allure and Coldheart are S tier champions for Fire Knight. When you look at this team, it's divided into 2 parts. There's the wave clearing team, and then there's the Fire Knight team. So wave clearing here, we have Seer, and we have, what, Duchess, basically a buffer, right? So it could be Mausoleum Mage, could be anybody. Even Mausoleum Mage on stage 25, like even despite the affinity, it's not that big of a deal. He's not landing debuffs, he's tanky, and he brings a lot of buffs to the table, right? But we have Lydia for the buffs. Seer's gonna go next. I think she's gonna nuke them all down. Right now, boom. Oh, Nethril. Okay, so that's part 1 of the team, right? So a buffer and Seer. That's all we really need there. A buffer, a debuffer, and Seer, right? Part 2, stage 2 of the team, is going to be our same debuffer, right? And then we have Coldheart and Allure. Coldheart has a 4-hitter on her A1. She's a 50% turn meter, stage 21 to 25 on her A3, her Heartseeker. And then we have Allure, who's just God turn meter status on this team as well. This team is very, very effective. And again, even if you don't have all these champions, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? But you do have Seer tackle a Fire Knight Castle team kind of like this, right? Where you have it, you're thinking about the waves, maybe 2 or 3 champions, and then 2 or 3 champions that have, 3 or 4 hitters on their A1, turn meter, etc. on, their A1 or whatever in their kit. And then they're going to be kind of your Fire Knight specialists. So that's kind of how the team is broken up. And you guys can see, once we get that shield down with Coldheart and Allure on the team, it's going to be easy peasy. And you'll see the Karma Burn might be the final hit on this boss. You'll see how much damage it does. Coldheart's Heartseeker did 260,000 damage. Guess what? Even though the Karma Burn is less effective against bosses, it's going to do the same amount of damage that Coldheart's did. Check it out. 269,000 damage. So she's just as good in terms of damage against these bosses as Coldheart, because the enemy max HP abilities are capped at whatever 10% of their max HP. That's still a ton of damage. So in terms of damage wise, she's right there with Coldheart against bosses, who have the buff against enemy max HP champions. So there we go. Seer did 3.7 million damage. No big deal, Seer. All in a day's work. All right, so enough of these pay-to-win teams, Ash. Show me something realistic, dude. All right. Go to Dragon's Lair. Go to Dragon. Let me build a Seer team. I'll be right. Actually, hey, we have a Seer team built right here, but it is a little bit paid to win. Let's get rid of these legendaries. I'll be right back. All right, guys. So we included the dynamic duo of Syl and Visix, the 2 daily login reward champions. Visix really good now. And then we have Stag Knight as our debuffer. We have Mausoleum Mage in a shield set. Mausoleum Mage is so good because he's bringing 3 buffs to the table on a 3-turn cooldown. Increased defense, block debuffs, increased crit rate. Again, on a 3-turn cooldown, we're going to have those up all the time. And we have him in a shield set as well. So check out this team, guys. Going to be very, very effective. So there's the decreased defense. She goes in with her A2. She's not going to auto into her Karma Burn unless there's enough buffs to where she thinks she's going to kill at least one enemy. In that case, she kills 4 of them. Not too bad, right? So again, you know, even you might not have Stagnite, you might not have Mausoleum Mage. It's okay, right? Just build a team with those buffer. Grizzled Jarl, Grizzled Jarl, Grizzled Jarl, Grizzled Jarl.
First time.
Is a great option because he has block debuffs and increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown as well. You know, if you're getting 2 unique buffs, oh, boom, wow, it melted before my very eyes. If you're getting those unique buffs on one champion, put them in a shield set, that's 3 buffs right there, you know? The idea, what I'm aiming for here, there's so many buffs out there. She's bringing increased crit rate herself too on the A2. I mean, I'm aiming for at least 4 buffs on all my champions to get up there, right? To get prepared for her Karma Burn. Because again, if we use Karma Burn and there's not 4 or so buffs on each champion, 434,000 damage. Not bad, right? Not bad against bosses. That was her Karma Burn. But yeah, as I was saying, if we use it against waves and there's not enough buffs up, we're not going to be able to kill him. So guys, I hope this video has proven to you guys once and for all that Seer is the goddess of PVE nukes. I just love this champion, man. She's so cool. Something just like viscerally about her ability, about Karma Burn, just the way it looks. It's just like, wow, yeah, you just got hit by a Mack truck, dude. You know, it's intense, man. She's just such a cool champion and, you know, dynamic, a very cool and dynamic champion. And she's a very team-dependent champion as well. So you build that right team around her. Again, if you have champions like Painkeeper, who reduce the cooldown on ally abilities, champions like, obviously, Mausoleum Mage, who bring a lot of buffs, shield sets. There's a lot of opportunity to get more value out of Seer as well. If you're creative with the team that you build around her, you could say the same thing about a lot of champions in this game, but Seer is really kind of front and center as a perfect example of, you know, you can get so much more out of a champion based on the team that you build around them. So guys, if you have Seer, congratulations. You have your hands on one of the best nukers in the game. 4 million damage to end off the video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.